So, alright guys, it was a Wi-Fi disconnection. I'm continuing with part 2. Arigato gozaimasu for any, new viewers. Anyways, what I'm trying to say here, dear viewers, is that not all problems are physical, and I was trying to paint the picture of what's been going on in this world. If I could create some sort of vocal visual trailer of like what has happened in this world of ours, it would be similar to, again, I'll continue, I was saying it, but I don't know if it got disconnected at this point or not. So pretty much the idea is that we're on a rock in the middle of nowhere. These creatures appeared, these creatures noticed themselves, and then they noticed how bizarre the situation is, and out of the meaningless, we crafted meaning. So, this species has named itself. We've named everything that is part of our knowledge. Knowledge is something that is assumed, and then it is verified, then it's absolutized until we realize the universe is not absolute. Do you understand? We're in a changing place. Things change. And you know what's really beautiful about the word change? There's the word age in it. Actually, what are we changing? What are we doing in a world where there are so many problems to solve, when there are worlds beyond what we can see? Think about everybody who, imagine before they broke the atom. Okay, imagine there was some guy, some shaman, some spiritual guy, right, from the forest, and he came and gave a prediction, and he said like they are going to break the smallest particles, and they're going to find circles inside. And everybody was like, yo, this guy thinks we're gonna find circles inside the atom. What a dumbass, and then I'm just saying hypothetically, guys. I'm just saying the fact that we have access to the world prior to how it happens as us. Okay, that's really what we have access to. So not all problems are visible. What that means is that the human being cannot account for all the consequences of its actions. And so what that means is I'm just this guy, and I'm like, okay, I'm alive once, might as well give talks, right? Seems to be like, something to do in the side of this life. And you know how it is? I'm like this person. Imagine there's a soccer team, a football team called humanity. And right now I feel, and I think the future generations may feel like this as well, I feel like I'm sitting on the bench. I'm sitting on the sidelines watching the human game happen. And all I can say is just cheer from a corner of the sidelines, right? Because I decided to be a poet rather than a businessman at first. So, a long time I thought I was like this kitten and the divine's gonna come and pull me out of the box. But then I realized the box is created by the kitten. We're kind of like Schrodinger's cat, but we're the cat, the box, and Schrodinger. By we, I mean consciousness. So, What are problems? The way I would define it is a situation where potential a problem is a situation where there is a potential of ability to respond. In my life, of course, people have, you can say there's three types of problems most people have, okay? You have problems of yourself. You either have problems with yourself, you know, you either have problems with others and being with others or living with others or walking with your species, or you have a problem with the world. If you have a problem with the world, that's kind of like the divine has to help you there. You understand? If you have a problem with the species, other species members can help you there. Do you know? If you have a problem with yourself, guess what? You're the only one who can help yourself. That's the thing that took me a long time to realize, you know, it's like that, it's the nature of the design of the system, the biological system. Children are raised under the wings of their parents until they come to realize that we were born to fly, not take care of a nest that doesn't exist, you know? So what I mean by that is that our past self cannot justify the greatness of our future self. Okay? Who I was in the past, what does it have to do with who I choose to be now? Sure, somebody may say, okay, your memories and all of this, of course, but I'm saying that the weird thing about consciousness is that it's noticing the past. If it was completely based on the past, it would have no sense of anything else. It should just be the past in motion. And it's really our minds that are generating and creating our experience of time. What is visibility? Visibility can be considered anything that has, you can access shape through. Sorry, not through as. So visibility is access to shape. That's pretty much it. There's color, density, and all of this, but ultimately everything is shapes. When I look at a human being, right, if I looked at them in a 2D way, they would be a shape. You know, a specific kind of shape, you know. In other dimensions, the shape can become more complex. Like if we wanted to think of like a, let's say, mathematically 7-dimensional shape of a human, I don't know, maybe AI can do this. We give it a human shape. If it can try, if mathematically it can consider, let's say, like 5th, 6th, 7 dimensions or something, it can project it on the computer to some degree, the complexity of the shape. Maybe we could do that with the human shape somehow. The topology of the human shape. Anyways, so what is visibility?
Hey, big heads up.
So a big heads up, guys. Visibility is access to shape as a shape within a shape. This is the best definition. This is really what a human being is. You know, this is consciousness is accessing shape as a shape within a shape. You know, I shouldn't say as a shape. Consciousness is access to shape shapelessly within a shape. There we go. Shapelessly within a shape. So people may be like, Mr. Within, aren't you a physical being? I'll be like, yeah, my body is. But the idea of me that based on what I see can change, like how can that be physical? It changes before it's, you know, it's, I have an opportunity to make my inner realms physical anytime. Anybody has an ability to do this, right? You know, when I was younger, when I started these talks, a part of me didn't really understand what I was doing. But a part of me felt I knew what I was doing. You know, that was the strange thing. It was like my consciousness was like, okay, you're making a strange decision here, you know, big commitment, you know, and at the same time, I don't know what it was in 2014, something. It was as if I was called forth, but I wasn't called forth by an individual or an entity. I was called forth by the world. Do you understand? Similarly to how you plant a seed in the soil and after a certain amount of time it sprouts. Destiny from a theological lens is how the gardener has everything planned. Everything's being watered on time. You know, human beings are arising. And you know, the coolest thing about this life, you know, when I was younger, I wanted to understand who I was around people. You understand? Because everybody I mean, you start off being with yourself as a human consciousness. And when I was really younger, I think like around 11, 12ish or something, do you understand? I had this ridiculous desire to participate in the moments that I would travel through, you know, social moments, but there was something in me that wanted to be part of the moment so much that the universe was like, yo, you want it too much. You know, it's like, do you understand? And I didn't realize this as a kid, but I realized that I had an intense desire, kind of like a cobra attacking, you know what I mean? That kind of desire, like in intensity, you know? What is the invisible? The invisible is the most important area of study. Why? Because at least the visible, we can see the problem. That means if there was an invisible world, how would we find invisible problems in an invisible world? Do you see the difficulty? Why do you think the poet Rumi from 700, 800 years ago says something in the lines of like, you have to work as hard as you do in the visible realms in the invisible realms? He says you have to work as hard as you work in the visible in the invisible. Why does he say that? Why? Because we think the invisible is something special. It is something so second nature, right? That the fear of man, of empty space, never was reasonable. Do you understand? The fear of existence doesn't make sense because we existed for this moment. Do you understand? It's as if like sometimes I wonder, yo, do you know, was I born to be scared of the world? Was I, when I was younger, I'm saying, was I born to be scared of people? Was I born to be scared of myself? Do you understand? You as a human being could fear so many things that you subconsciously deactivate your worthiness in the moment. And I'm someone who's like, yo, it's as if how has, I don't know who's done it, right? But someone's kind of some movement has convinced a species that has not entered the future yet that it will never enter the future, that it will lose, it will go extinct, that we're all waiting for an inevitable anguish. WTF, is that how humans roll? We wait for death and that's it. We wait for extinction. No, that's not the human style. We retaliate till the last breath. Because why are we breathing, right? We're breathing for the potential of everybody, not for what they've been, not for what they are. Do you understand? Somebody in the chat section says, do you have some favorite shapes that you're just drawn to, sacred geometries? I have a specific shape that found me through a dream, a specific word and a specific shape, and it was an inverted triangle. And so when I move in my inner realm, sometimes if the imagery is too intense for a human to journey in the inner realms, I convert myself into a shape, and then geometry cannot be scared. So shape, if you're a shape, what can you be afraid of? Shapes don't die. Do you understand? People, the life force leaves the shape, right? Shapes don't die. Shapes change. Do you understand? That means it's kind of weird. I can't say my body died because the elements that constitute me still exist, right? But they're not in the same structure or in the same stature or composure as before. Do you understand? They're not in the same lattice structure. So for me, it's the inverted triangle, and I play with shapes in my inner realms. What that means is I adjust them to my hands. So what that means is sometimes playfully. I mean, when I get bored, I don't